You know what we want to see. Measurable rise. All right. So, Patsy, so why asking the audience to take the next step feels riskier than it is? So, people, now you know clearly what's wrong, you know what to do. Why wouldn't you do it? Or why would some of you not take action? Right? It's a human thing. And it's true teaching must address the reason why people will not do something. Teaching that understand the nature of the mind and the nature of man must really understand and address that. Or else it's make it incomplete. So let's do this. All right, the first thing that somebody will consider right now is that the fear that asking too often will feel salesy. So I mean, what does it look like? So coaches worry that regular calls to opt in, right? Regular call to action to do opt in, to take, right, to take to or take the next step will shrink engagement or damage a relationship built over the years. And this is very human. This is like, it's beyond even the internet. You see it everywhere in most human relationship. Oh, maybe the people know you as the nice guy, the rich guy, the rich lady, the guy who has all together, right? But you don't have it all together. And you need help. But because you build that perception in that man over time, right? And everybody is some way, somehow unconsciously trained like that by society. It's very unfortunate that there are people that are there that could help you, but just because you don't want to break a certain wrong, is already a wrong perception that has been built there. But you are not, you are not God, and we are not God, right? Well, so the journey, our journey on this earth is supposed to lead towards like a perfection, right? Perfection or whatever has already been put inside us. So if you are not open to like people just knowing what's happening, I think then that may be a problem. That may not really help. So that's the same mindset at a micro level. That now the human being with a large influence, a large following now takes at a micro level. Some people are very natural with asking people for help because they genuinely grew up needing help. So you have to ask people how to help. But some too never really needed help. Everything was just done. So growing up to now having an audience and you knowing that okay, this business does not grow without me asking them to do this and that may feel cringe or a bit weird for you. But that's not really the case. So what's the counter tactic or the counter thoughts to that? So an invitation to the next round, right, isn't a pitch. Even if it's a pitch, I don't see a problem with that, right? But it's a continuation of the relationship, and that's the best explanation, the best way you want to look at it. That you are just going deeper with you. You set out to solve their problems. That's why you're making that relationship content. That's why you are being becoming a business. You want to solve business problems. That's why you're a business coach. So how do you get to solve business problems without you knowing the business owners, or without you knowing the business owners closely? You are making content because you don't really have access to their businesses yet. So you are making content so that they can know that you can solve their problem, you can solve their relationship issue, you can solve their how they call it, their health issue, whatever coaching or consulting area you do working. That's why you are doing it from afar. But when they now start getting closer, the natural thing should be like, okay, I have this for you, right? You can DM me, you can join my email list so that we just go deeper into it. So the end goal is you getting into some people's business. I'm doing this because I want to have more coaches. I want to work on content or strategy or sales strategy for more coaches or conversion mechanism for more coaches. But I don't know all the coaches I'm supposed to know. So I'm making content so that it does attract the coaches. But when they do come, I should have a way to invite them to invite myself and invite them closer to me, or get each other closer to one another. Otherwise, I'm just not fulfilling my purpose. So again, if you look at it from the purpose of why you actually started this coaching or this consulting business, it changes completely. You set out to solve problems but you cannot do that without you having access to those things actually, or those things or those people that actually do have the problem. All right, so the next excuse that do come up is I don't have anything valuable enough to offer, right? And again, there's a lot to say about that, but let's look at it briefly. So Coaches often assume that the known route offer needs to be a polished lead magnet or a significant piece of intellectual property. That's the unfortunate thing. That if it has to be something very polished, like high, yeah, definitely has to be high value, right? Valuable to the people. But again, the assumption of thinking that you don't have anything like that is very wrong. Within a few minutes, you can just use Cloud to to put some few thoughts, some very valuable thoughts in there, and then generate a very high quality ebook or a very high quality cheat sheet for you, right? It's just a few minutes, and it doesn't take much for you to just ask them to DM you to just look into their issue personally, and they will do that. They'll do that. So counter tactics. So the offer only needs to solve one narrow, specific problem the audience already asked about. Like here, this webinar, for example, I deal with the fact that you actually do have. So the offer, yeah, so you just need to offer something specific, right? A simple, clear answer, well delivered, often beats an elaborate resource. So a simple answer will deliver. So you already have a simple answer. And if you're making content, you probably know a thing or two about delivery of that answer. So you have whatever it takes. So the what ifs. So these are like things that are really in the mind of people, and these are honest things actually. So somebody can go like, okay, what if my audience genuinely isn't big enough yet? Nothing wrong with that. So you just need to narrow the entry, not the reach, right? And even a small one group converts better once a real ladder exists than a large one with no routes above familiar. Right. So the narrow audience is not really a problem when you look at it that way. So what if I ask and nothing happens? I would say first, have you asked first to know, right? Have you asked? Obviously, nothing has happened. If something always happens, something always happens. So one post is a test, not a verdict. The case studies results came from a consistent weekly cadence, not a single attempt. So whatever feedback you got here about your business or your operation now, didn't just come from you one post. It came from weeks of this thing. So it's not like it's at once that everything is going to change. So you must have the willingness to always include one ladder mover in your content. That's what you want to intentionally do. And then what if I don't have a list building tool set up yet? So you can just focus on the DM based route. So maybe I want to talk to 10 people, right? The first 10 people to DM me, right? I will help you address this thing. Or maybe I want today, my DM is open today. Send me a message, this and that. And then all of a sudden, boom, the entire inbox sent. They'll be happy to talk to you, and you have it there. It doesn't own contact list immediately. All right. So the weekly ladder check that returns followers into book calls. But it's something that will run consistently week after week. And that's just one check. That's if you just run this, you always be converting people with your content. Right. So a simple weekly question keeps the ladder from reverting. Again, but I say reverting because you can start well, it can be faced in a week, it can be faced in a few days or a few months, and then without knowing you go back to the wrong stuff just because you didn't know what was making things work. So what's that one question? So does this week's content plan include at least one deliberate escalation moment from familiar towards known? As for familiar, you are sure that it will always happen, it will always be there. But then is there something that will move people from familiar to known? One action, one thing that is being asked to do that will do that. Must always be one, right? This if you are posting 2 times, there must always be one. If you are posting 20 times, there must at least be one. If the honest answer is no, that's this week fee. So that week, if you check your content shop supposed to be posted this week, and the answer is no, then you just have to know that okay, now this thing that I'm doing is just not going to produce the results that I want. Right. So the weekly ladder check. 3 steps, right? 3 steps that you just run. So the first one is look for what's already planned for this week. And then two, right, before publishing anything, check the content calendar as it stands. And then two, confirm one piece moves someone from familiar to known. That's just one piece of content is in charge of that. Two, a specific honorable ask, not a generic follow for more kind of thing. If it doesn't exist yet, add it before you publish. So if you realize that there's no post that will actually move people from the the familiar ladder to the known one, you just fix that. That's what you do. All right. Wrapping up this. So why does your audience feel worthless? Here's what changes this week. So you stop measuring your audience by size and start measuring it by how many ranks it can climb. This is a completely different thing from what you are told. I'm sure every time you think about growth for social media, we are told that, oh, 40,000 this, 40,000 that, 10,000 followers, a million, 10 million, 40,000, 500,000 subscribers, whatever it is, right? So the face isn't more followers. It is one deliberate piece of content this week designed to move existing followers, not just to reach new ones. So you now have the framework, the audit, and a real case study of what it moves. So what's left is applying it to your exact profile and your exact next post. That's what you want to do. You just want to start applying it immediately in it. And it doesn't have to be the last post of the week as well. That moves people. It could be the first, it could be the second, it could be the third, it could be the last as well. But there's no particular, but there must be at least one that moves people to the next level from familiar to known. All right. So we're right here at the end of it. So you already know why your audience isn't converting. Let's map it to your exact audience. So this webinar gave you the real diagnostic, not a teaser. So a free 15-minute call, discovery call, is the fastest way to run the ownership ladder audits on your own audience and map exactly where the gap sit. So yes, that is my that's my call to action here. I look forward to you getting into this call with you. Book a link, the link is in the description. Make sure you subscribe, you follow, and share it with a coach if you do enjoy this. And this part of a series, watch out for the next webinar as well. Thank you, and do have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye bye.